It's hard to shift and try to keep up with it. Hello everyone, this is Hushman with eBikes USA. Today, beautiful day in Denver, Colorado. We are in Wash Park doing a test ride of the 3 SONDORS Mid Drive bikes. This is a great day for a ride like this. So with me, I have Brad, who's our service manager, and I also have Mark, who's the newest member on our team. He's one of our sales managers joining me. So we took out the 3 mid-drive SONDORS out for a ride. I think we put in, what, 6-8 miles already on these bikes. You know, we'll have footage. But I kind of want to talk a little bit about the 3 bikes. And I also want to hear from you two gentlemen about each bike, what you thought of it, and your observations. But also, in your mind, who these bikes are good for, because obviously they have 3 different characteristics, different sizes, different equipment. So overall, just an overview of the 3 bikes. All 3 bikes feature Bafang's mid-drive ultra motors, 620 motors. They're all tuned for SONDORS to be class 3 750 watts 28 miles an hour bikes. The drivetrain of the LX and Cruiser, this beautiful red and white bike, are both featuring Altus derailleurs, 7 speeds. I believe they're 12 to 32 gears. The Rockstar, on the other hand, is featuring SRAM's NX 11 speed. I believe it's 11 to 42. It's a 1x11 system. All 3 of them feature the same 48 tooth front crank, same battery, 48 volt 21 amp hour. The LX and the Cruisers have the same display, same PAS selectors. The SONDORS Rockstar features a different display, which is really geared toward mountain biking. SONDORS Rockstar also features a dropout seat post, so you can adjust it for riding on trails and so forth. There's also a significant difference when it comes to the front fork. Rockstar features a SONDORS Air Shock. This is a branded by Air Shock by Sontor. The other 2, the LX also features an Air Shock, but the Cruiser has a rigid fork. The tires are different on the 3 bikes. Cruiser features 27.5 inch 3-inch tires, street tires. These are V Speedsters. The LX features 26-inch 4.9-inch fat tires that we have seen on other SONDORS bikes, featuring a 80mm rims. On the other hand, Rockstar features the best of the 3, the Maxxis tires, 27.5-inch by 3, and these are the High Roller 2 tires, front and back. The Rockstar obviously has a rear shock, and that is by D&M, 150mm travel front and back. The LX only has a front shock. I believe it's 120. I need to verify that information. I could be wrong on that. So if you do know that information, please share that in the comments. The Cruiser, as I indicated, doesn't have a front fork. One other feature about the 3, now we've made a modification to the LX. We've installed an adjustable stem and a wider handlebar to make it more comfortable for ourselves. The Cruiser, on the other hand, comes with a swept back handlebar. It's more of a Cruiser style and we're going to talk a little bit about the comfort and the ride characteristics that brings. The Rockstar has 0 modifications. This is just exactly the way it came in. It does have a wider handlebar than what the LX comes with, and it doesn't have the ergonomic grips, but these are velo grips. These are great for mountain biking. So this is how this bike came out of the box, and I have to say all 3 of them have beautiful coloring. The red and white with gray on the Cruiser, black and white on the LX, and this beautiful yellow on the Rockstars. So I want to hear from you guys. Brad, what is your observations of the 3 bikes?
All 3 bikes are very powerful, that's definitely for sure. I would assume that the Rockstar is going to be something or more suitable for someone like myself. I do like to ride on and off road and take it on trails.
Yeah, we noticed that.
Yeah, you have the capability of riding it on road or commuting with it, but you're not going to be able to really carry much with you. You are going to be able to ride with a bag. You are going to be able to take it on single track trails though, which is honestly going to be the best part about this bike.
Well, would you, when you say you can't carry your stuff with you, is it because it's not designed for a rack, correct?
So it's not designed for a rack in the back due to that full suspension as well.
Okay, that's a very valid point. I know a couple of people have already asked on the owners group about, can I install a rack? Can I install fenders? While anything is possible, truthfully, this bike wasn't designed for racks and fenders. I can see trail fenders, small trail fenders for riding in the mud, but it wasn't really designed for a rack. It doesn't have the bosses. I do know there are manufacturers. Topeak has a new model that you can put a rear rack on this. It gets attached to the frame, but if you're planning to ride this off-road, you shouldn't really do that. The other thing about the Rockstar, it doesn't have a kickstand.
It does not.
So,
Kickstand on this bike.
And we've already been asked by someone, can we install a kickstand? Again, that is possible, but a full suspension mountain bike is not meant to have a kickstand, because if you're riding on dirt trails, on rocks, on logs, and the kickstand drops, it can be a dangerous proposition. You notice we propped the bike against this bench, and that's why we're standing here by the benches. Mark, I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts about the Rockstar first?
The Rockstar, I'm one of those people who like to speak when I ride, and this is vicious. It accelerates. You can go anywhere you want to go. You can do anything you want to do on this thing.
So you felt this was the more torque or
Absolutely.
powerful compared to the other two?
Absolutely.
So I noticed the same thing, Brad. I think you did too. I think the reason, even though they both all 3 of them have the same motor, same battery, I think is the way it's possible this bike is tuned differently, which I'm not certain about, but I do know the gearing, the 11-speed gearing does make a huge difference on this bike. You have much better torque, especially you have a bigger range and you can do more with it. And I noticed the same thing. This bike is torqueier.
When I pedaled to accelerate, that thing just got up underneath me at all times, and just off we went. It was phenomenal.
Okay, so let's talk about LX. What did you think of the LX?
The LX, I equate that more to kind of a motorcycle, bicycle style. It's super big, super stable, responsive, can counter steer, but it rides exactly in a nice smooth style. Comfortable everywhere, take it through snow, it would do wonderfully.
So on my thoughts on the LX is, this is the sports utility, do it all. You can still go on dirt roads, trails, but the fat tire, yeah, it does add weight. I mean, as we weighted all 3 bikes, the LX weighs 89 pounds, Cruiser and the Rockstar weigh 83 pounds, and that's an interesting number for the Rockstar, because it does have rear shock and the frame, all the high step frame. So for it to come in at 83, same as Cruiser, there's something to be said about the engineering on that frame. Brad, what did you think of the LX?
The LX I've spent some time on, and I agree, it is something that's going to be a do-all bike. You can ride it on and off road. Those fatter tires just give you that capability of riding it on gravel, on grass, on the streets. It just makes you feel overpowered, and it's pretty awesome.
Okay. And gentlemen, what do you think of the Cruiser?
In a nutshell, that is a lazy Sunday bike. It's got the smooth wheels. There's very little noise. The throttle has excellent acceleration. It's nice, easy pedaling. You want to go a little bit faster to get across that street or up that hill. Hit that throttle, and that thing will take you right up it. It's solid underneath you. And like I said, with these smoother tires here, it was just the quietest ride.
Of the three of them.
Yeah, it was just beautiful. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Great. What did you think, Brad?
The LX, or the
Cruiser,
sorry, is going to be very comfortable, just like he's saying. Those lights built in as well as awesome feature.
That's right.
To go at night if you want to. And my main feature is going to be those swept-back handlebars. Those just make you sit back and feel so comfortable while riding this bike.
Gentlemen, you're absolutely spot on. The Cruiser with the swept back handlebar has the most upright seating position of the three bikes, followed by the LX. Now the LX sits a little bit taller than the Cruiser because of the shock. It's this sit taller, but the Rockstar has the most aggressive seating position, and that is for the trails. I mean, I'm the shortest of the three of us, and I'm a little bit stretched on that bike. This is the larger frame. I did some measurements yesterday of the three. If I was going to measure the distance between the seat collar and the center of the crank to determine the frame size, the LX came at 16.5 inch. So I would say that's a 16.5 inch frame. The Cruiser came at 16.5. LX comes in close to 20 inch. The Rockstar also comes in at 20 inch. However, because the LX has a step through, shorter rider can comfortably ride it, especially with the adjustment that I've done with the adjustable stem. Whereas the Rockstar has the high step bar. I still think if you measure right here on the black part where one would actually stand over, this is a 32-inch standover height versus 20-inch on the other two, thanks to the step-through design. One other item of note, of the three of them, the Rockstar has the shortest handlebar height, followed by the Cruiser, and then it's the LX. LX is the highest handlebar height. However, because of the geometry of that Cruiser frame, it feels more upright, even though it's slightly different. What are your other thoughts about these three bikes? Who do you think these are good for, the three of them?
I think the mountain bike is going to be good for somebody like me, somebody that wants to play around on the bikes, maybe do some wheelies, some endos, go on and off road.
We've talked about that. No more wheelies, Brad.
I'm trying. Can't help myself. Another feature also with that Rockstar that I do like is that they actually built in the lockout system in that front fork.
Yes.
So it is just accessible by thumb right up the top here. So it is nice to turn it on and off.
As you're riding on the trails. Yeah, exactly. How about the LX? Who's that good for?
I think that one is pretty much good. I'm a commuter by trade. I've been commuting for years. This is a phenomenal commuting bike. It will take you anywhere, street, light trails, off-road, through the park.
Fire roads, dirt roads.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just easy to control, it's a comfortable ride, and if you get in some inclement weather, a little bit of mud, you don't have to worry about where your wheels are going.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And also, if you change the air pressure on those tires, you can also soften the ride a little bit, depending on the conditions and where you're riding.
Absolutely.
Sure, sure. How about the Cruiser? What do you guys think? Who's the Cruiser good for?
Anybody. I honestly think the Cruiser would be good for myself if I wanted to go on again a Sunday cruise, or if I just wanted to commute with it as well. It's good for absolutely everybody, I think, just how comfortable it is.
It's a very comfortable ride, isn't it? What do you think, Mark?
I call it an 18 to 80 bike.
18 to 80, okay.
Anybody from 18 to 80 can ride that, possibly more on each side. but it's so smooth and it's so easy to handle, and the way that it goes, it's just one of those bikes that you just get on and ride and you don't have to think about it.
That's true.
It's just there for you.
So there is
Wonderful.
my viewpoint of the three riders. There's also something else. I think the Cruiser is very suitable for someone that's on the shorter side. If you're height challenged, that is the perfect bike for you. If you lower the seat, it will have the lowest seat height to ground position or to pedal position, so you can accommodate someone with a seam as short as 28 inches. Whereas the LX and Rockstar, the LX will accommodate somebody with a 30-inch inseam comfortably. The Rockstar, you really got to be a 32-inch inseam to ride it comfortably. Now, I know shorter riders, and I'm sure there will be owners that will disagree with me on this. There are shorter riders that are riding this and they're comfortable, but if you're an experienced rider like you three of us, yes, we can ride any of these bikes. However, for a casual rider who's starting out, they need to be aware of the size of these bikes, the height of these bikes, the top tube dimension, how far they are stretched, and let's not forget the weight of these bikes. Even at 83 pounds versus 89 pounds, 89 pounds, these are hefty bikes, and one should be able to handle the weight. Any other thoughts?
I'm just ready to ride them.
Well, before you go, you mentioned something to me about the shocks. What'd you think of the shock on this?
So the shocks on the Rockstar are well thought out as well. So again, they partnered with SR Suntour, which is going to be a great shock company. So it's a very smooth and fluid feeling shock. So I'd really enjoy what they did with the suspension on that Rockstar.
I tend to agree with you. I know some people had made a comment that this doesn't have the Blue Toe, or it doesn't have this brand or that brand. True. However, for the price point, the economy of the bike, I think this is an amazing suspension package on the bike. Yes, we could have easily had upgrade this with $1,000 front shock and a $600 rear shock, but it won't be at the price point that it was offered. What did you think of the shock on the LX?
The LX is really smooth as well, being just from SONDORS. I was very surprised. It does have the lockout feature as well on there, so if you don't want to use suspension on just your main roads on your commuting, you can lock it out as well. So it is an awesome fork.
And on both the Rockstar and LX, they're both weight adjustable. You can change the air pressure to accommodate the weight of the rider.
Yes.
And I think that's something we do often in our store. We work with our customers to give them the ideal ride for what they're doing, the terrain they're riding, the weight of the riders. What did you think of the shocks, Mark?
The shocks were incredible. It's just, I bounced over curbs. It was just anything. I felt fairly invincible on it.
You
I
felt
that I could
confident?
take it anywhere I could want to go.
Yeah.
And circling back to the weight on these two, on the Cruiser and the LX, the nice part of the weight is that combined with the tires, give you a stability feel that only, that a larger bike can really give you, as opposed to feeling that something frail that you might lose control of. These eliminate that problem completely.
I tend to agree with you gentlemen. I mean, there's also something else I want to point out. I'm looking at the Cruiser and focusing on the Cruiser. Of the three of them, I think it's the most beautiful bike. I mean, the motor is concealed. It does have a shield around the motor. The graphics, the gray, the red, and the white, and I know there are other colors, but based on what I've seen, I was in California last weekend and I've seen all three colors now. All three of them are gorgeous colors. It's a complete package. One thing we forgot to mention, the Cruiser and the LX come with the front headlight and tail lights. The tail lights also feature a brake light, which is great. The on the SONDORS LX, I'm a huge fan of the white and black here. I've seen the black one. The black one is absolutely gorgeous. I regret I didn't order it. On our next shipment, we're getting the black one. The white and black, I'm calling it the Star Wars bike. This is by all means the Stormtrooper bike. What do you guys think of the packaging and the graphics on the Rockstar?
It's great. They put some more protective layering on the top tube for you, and they also put that kind of mud shield where the battery goes as well. So they did a great job with just thinking about saving extra places. Also with that chain guard down below here as well.
Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. Now as you all know, that we do have a black one. I have been saving the black one for a special occasion. It's in the warehouse. Some of the owners have reached out to me and they wanted us to feature the black one in our video. I haven't done that, so we're waiting for the Slate bike to come in. And I want us to take the 3 Rockstars, once we have them, on a true Colorado trail, maybe Floyd Hill, Centennial Cone, one of the more aggressive rides, not wash park, and put these through the test and see how they would do on the single track. Obviously, we're not doing this bike justice by riding it around the park, but I'm aware of what it's capable of doing. So I want to save the black one for that ride. And the Slate is, I believe it's on its way in a couple of weeks. So I look forward to having that. Well, gentlemen, thank you for your input. This was a great ride so far.
Yes.
What do you say we go for some more rides?